Hi everybody, it's Jill from Fig Jam. Popping on to make some soap today. We're making the goat's milk recipe, which I have here, and the goat's milk I have frozen. So here it all is in chunks, and now we're going to add the right amount of lye to it. So let's just check. 140 grams needs to go in here, and I'm just going to see if that works well, whether or not I can still use it. Will it be warm enough to melt down the oils? If it looks like it's not going to be that hot, I'll melt the oils down in the microwave. So anyway, 140 grams. Here we go. Yeah, that's going. 116. Keep going. Oops. 158. So we don't need that long. A little more off the top. 140. That should be fine. So let's see what that starts to do as far as the melting goes. So for the heat transfer method to work, you need obviously very hot lye water. So given that this is frozen, which is what the preference is when you're using goat's milk, so this is pure goat's milk. It froze. Let's see. It's starting now. So this recipe's got in it canola oil, coconut oil, palm oil, shea butter, and a small amount of olive oil. I had to adjust the recipe because I ran out of canola. But there you go. That happens. So we adapted, but I then ran it back through soap talc to make sure I had the right amount of everything that we needed. And it was no different. So which was good because I wanted a particular recipe. So anyway, this is, yeah, it's not even getting hot, which is interesting. So I don't think we'll be doing the heat transfer method today. Really? Oh, well, we must have to adapt. So while it's still doing its bit of a dissolve and melt, I might just start it in the microwave. Plonk that in there for a minute. See how that goes. Yeah, this is not even getting hot, which is really interesting because normally the minute you put your um, citric and powder in with your water, it normally gets really hot and fumy. But I have to say, with the frozen goat's milk, um, there is no fumes. So yeah, so that's good. Let's give it a swirl. Keep swirling it up. Been watching this really cute young lady on YouTube in America. She cooks. I love watching her cook because everything she cooks, she never says mix or stir. She says swirl it up. And she's just very entertaining. And her recipes are good. Very easy to make recipes. So, yeah, you can see some great characters, but I love to swirl it up. So we're swirling it up. Anyway, that seems to be pretty, not quite, but almost melted. Yeah, that's interesting. That hasn't got hot at all, which is what you expect when you mix your water with your acid. Interesting. Yep, really cold. So that's good. That's all done now and looks like milk, pure milk, which is what it is. So let's now just see how this is. Yep. Makes a bit more of a swirl. And today we're using sandalwood fragrance from Heirloom, which is just a really nice. You can't go wrong with sandalwood. It's just such a such a pretty fragrance. It seems to be very popular. So in this bowl, I've got the olive oil and canola ready and waiting, and we're going to make pink and I'm going to try pink and white swirl for the colour, and I've got just using these today. There should be enough, I think. We'll see how that goes. Make 2, and then I've got all these fabulous rosebud petals, which I'm going to sprinkle on the top. So we'll see how that turns out. Because I've been sitting there a while, it's time to get them used. And yeah, let's just check on this oil. Yeah, it's coming along. Let's give that a bit of a swizzle, because sometimes just a bit more. You don't want to overheat it. If you can avoid it, I prefer to give it a bit of a swizzle. So yeah, we're going to swirl this lot up. So that's really coming along quite nicely. It's not quite dissolved, but I think it'll be okay, so that when I add in the cold oils, it's quite warm, so it should be okay. Let's chuck this lot in, give it a good scrape so we don't waste anything. And yeah, so hope you're all having a good start to 2026. Ours has been exciting, lots of the actions and things happening here. So weather's good. Weather's been really hot. We've had some stinky hot days here in Australia, but it's quite pleasant at the moment. Got a cooler one today, so that's quite nice. So sort of got like making soap. Haven't made any for a while. The last one I made was goat's milk, and that was really popular. And I have to say, I liked using it myself. So, you know, that was good. Anyway, now I think we're going to mix in the lye solution. So that's all in. Give that a bit of a scrape, make sure nothing's left behind. Because as much as, you know, you don't want to waste, science says the amount of fluid. I do a discount of water. Or in this case, it was a discount of goat's milk, just to make sure it was, you know, it will help the curing process, because I did some, I don't know if you've done lessons, but I did some lessons, and the lessons, the person that taught me talked about the water discount. I didn't do any water discount in my first few batches because I wasn't experienced enough, but yeah, so here we go. That's looking good. Probably ready for a bit of a belt with the old mixer. Put that aside now, and let's just give this a bit of a blast. I think it's getting time for me to buy a new one of those, because this is getting a bit clunky. So I'll try to deaden the sound when I get to mixing this properly through YouTube. That's looking really good. Let's see where we trace. Very, very light, but I want to mix other colours, you know, a bit of white and pink. So I think it's a good idea to separate it out. Stand up. That right? There we go. Anyway, put some in this jug, and So that'll be the swirly white. I think we'll just go with a little bit of swirl white. Keep this all. The pink I'm using is called Candy Pink Mica. So it's really bright pink, but once we kind of mix that in with the soap batter, it won't be that bright. So we'll give that a bit of a swirl up. Give that a bit of a swirl up. See, yeah, I don't think keep it light because I know it lightens up as you know it cures. It turns more creamy pink than the deep pink you might see now. But that's okay because I don't want it to be over coloured. So that looks okay. I'm liking that. There we go. Now we're going to put, I've got this bottle, I've already pre-made up my white titanium dioxide. And yeah, I'm not going to use too much because I sometimes think titanium dioxide, I find it kind of makes the batter go really thick. So we'll give it a bit of a squirt and then it just means it'll be a little bit whiter than it was. Bit more. And yeah, there we go, a little bit more. That's looking quite just a bit lighter. And this pink will give a bit of a burl because, as I said before, it was pretty much at trace, but I kept it. And of course, if you want a pink to be more pastel-y, baby pink, adding a little titanium dioxide to this mix would do that for you. But I do want to have, a good bit of colour. So let's now just get this, not sure how quick the fragrance will set. So let's just put a bit of fragrance in the white. Because that's sometimes the thing that really sets off the batter to become a little difficult. So let's whack that lot in and, as I say, swirl her up, see how she goes. So, oh, I do like the sandalwood. It is, it's a nice fragrance, and that's batter's looking quite good. Liking the look of that. So let's just, yep, I think that's looking quite healthy. So what we can do now is start pouring it into the mould. Yeah, so let's get some of that in there. Probably only get one batter out of one loaf. Bit of the white in there. Keep the rest of the top. Let's give that a bit of a swirl up with this, just to make sure it mixes together. So I don't know if you can see. Mix a bit of the pink and the white together so we'll get some nice variation through the loaf rather than just plain pink or plain cream. It'll be a little bit of each. So now we'll top her up. I have other moulds on hand in case this gets too full and there's not enough to do. I don't think there's going to be enough to do another full loaf, but I've got some nice little heart-shaped moulds that I'd like to do. They're like a guest soap style. I'll show you that in a second. This batter's worked nicely today, so I'm very happy with that. Yeah, very pleased with how that's turned out. So, not waste any. Let's throw a little bit of pink and white that's left together in the bowl. We'll that all up a bit more. But that looks really pretty. I'm quite happy with that texture. So we'll let that set up a little bit, because I'll do some indentations on the top with a spoon, and that should look quite nice. Yeah, so anyway, that's that little lot. Let's have a look at what I've got here. Is these heart-shaped moulds, and I like these. They are really quite cute. So let's see if we can get some of this into these heart-shaped moulds without making too much mess. Scrape it all in and tidy it up afterwards. Let's just get them full. Batter staying nice, so I'm happy with that. Hasn't sort of thickened up too much. Give them a bit of a whack. Trouble with wearing gloves, which is what we have to do, is it makes everything slippery, doesn't it? Well, there you go. Splosh it all in. Give it a good batter down. Yep, that's coming along nice. I just got enough to do this tray, which will be lovely. Nothing like nice little goat's milk soaps for a bathroom or a hand basin if you've got one. Even in your kitchen next to your sink if you want to. Sometimes after you've cooked you think, oh, your hands smell of food and you don't want that, so you do a quick rinse in the sink in the kitchen. If you've got some really cute little soaps there sitting in a dish, half of them smells good even while you're not using them. You know, that's one of the things my guests often say, gosh, your bathroom smells so good. And it's just because these soaps are sitting there. Yeah, so anyway, let's give this a good plunk down. Yep, some bubbles are popping out, some air bubbles, so that's what you want. You want all the air bubbles out, because you don't want to have any holes when you finally get to that point where you're pulling them out. So give them all a bit of a scrape over the top, get it even. So where this one up here's got a little less in it, now it's got as much as the others. So, and it doesn't matter if there's bits of extra soap attached to them, because when you pull them out, it's easy to shave them off at the edge. So anyway, that's all done. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, that's done. So that's good. Now we'll just clean off the top with the other. There we go. Perfect. Right texture. Perfect. Push that into the middle. Perfect. There we go. Rose petals are off. Really pretty. I'll put some on these. Let's just try that. See how that turns out. Some with, some without. Right. So that's now done. So I'm happy with that. That's turned out really good. looks really cute. So we'll cut that tomorrow. I'll have to let them sit. And this is a bit of a mess, so I'll put that on a tray. Should have put it on first, Jill. There you go. Anyway, I'll put that on a tray and sit, and then I'll cover them. And I've got a box I set them in with a lid on so that they will saponify. I keep an eye on them because I don't want them to get too hot through that process, because if they get too hot, they split. So particularly with it's got milk in it, I don't want them to get too hot, but I do like them to go through that whole saponification. I think they look nicer, but I monitor it. So anyway, if you've got any questions about goat's milk, using frozen goat's milk, as opposed to using the heat transfer method, which is what I really like to do, but it appears that's not possible when you use frozen goat's milk. So that kind of makes sense, because if you don't, you'll burn the goat's milk, and that makes a really awful smell and not good for the soap. So anyway, thank you all, friends, for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it.